Hey, what's happening everybody? How are you doing? This is Rob of Rule of Two Review. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to continue with this sort of break from Metroid-related content that I've been on the past week or two. And instead, I want to talk about another very famous, very popular, very long-running Nintendo franchise. And it has to do with a little character you may have heard of called Mario. So basically, one of the bigger ideas and questions I've had rumbling around in my brain the past month or two is the status of Mario and whatever potential new mainline Mario game or 3D Mario game might be being developed behind closed doors right now, and what the release structure of that game would be, and what kind of game it even would be. This is something that I discussed in a way earlier in the year when Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury came out, because I do think that there's a great chance that what they did with Bowser's Fury was a little bit of a peek into some of the direction they might be going with the Mario franchise. We don't know that, and as per usual, I'm just a fan kind of speculating with my own history and experience with Nintendo and Mario and just gaming in general. But I do think there's a chance that they might have been giving us a peek behind the curtain at some of the plans or directions they might want to be taking Mario. And it's now been, 4 years, almost 4 years, since the last mainline Mario game that's a new game released on the Switch or for any Nintendo device, that of course being Super Mario Odyssey way back in October of 2017. And we're over 4 years into the life cycle of the Nintendo Switch. We're coming up near the end of 2021. We're kind of broaching the last quarter of the year. And with a Nintendo Switch OLED system coming out soon, some people talking about still maybe wanting an actual Switch Pro or a next-gen console, stuff I've talked about to you guys so many times. Does that impact what Nintendo might be doing with Mario? Or, I don't even think this is crazy, does Nintendo's plans with the next Mario impact what they might be doing with their hardware? I think that's almost as likely as the other. And it's just a very interesting thing. I've got some ideas. Huge fan of Mario, of course. I'm not crazy. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about that today. Of course, before we jump any deeper into the Mario topic, I like to remind you guys that I am always trying to grow the channel here on Rule of Two Review. I upload every single week. I cover all things Nintendo, I cover all things Metroid, and I discuss all things gaming. So as you watch this video, if you seem to like what I'm doing and what you hear, then I hope you will consider subscribing to the channel. So I think it's fair to say that Mario overall has had a pretty good run on the Nintendo Switch, right? In the first 4.5 years of the console's life. Starting off pretty strong with both a port of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which has been like the biggest monster seller of all time, pretty much. Then, of course, ending the year with Super Mario Odyssey, which isn't my favorite 3D Mario game, but it is a really good, solid game, and many people love it to tears. They just think it's maybe even the best Mario game, and so it was a very strong, very worthy new entry in the 3D Mario kind of like mainline series of Mario games, right? That was a great year to have Mario Kart 8 get a port from the Wii U, as well as Super Mario Odyssey. And since then, we've had a lot of other spin-offs and other ports, New Super Mario Bros. U, of course, got a Wii U port as well, or from the Wii U to the Switch, I should say. We've had Mario Tennis, we've had a Paper Mario game, we've had a couple of Mario Party games, we had Mario Golf this year. Mario's been doing his typical thing, getting some kind of annual releases and spin-offs throughout the life cycle of the Switch so far. And again, at the beginning of this year, as I said, we had another port, Super Mario 3D World from the Wii U, that also came with some brand new Mario content in Bowser's Fury. And I referenced that at the beginning of the video here, but we really can't underplay how important it was that Nintendo did develop some kind of new, very short and small Mario adventure to release on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, really, Super Mario Odyssey and the very short little Bowser's Fury experience are the only new kind of main Mario experiences that they've created and released on the Switch. And now, full disclosure, for any of you newcomers here, I do still own and very much did enjoy Mario 3D World on the Wii U. I have my Wii U copy. I've played through that game hours upon hours. It's not my favorite as well, but it is a really good, really fun game. And so anyone who played it, whether it was on the Wii U or the Switch, that's great. However, because I still own my Wii U copy, I have not picked up the Switch port, which means I haven't actually played Bowser's Fury, and I'm still holding out hope that they just release that as a separate download for like 15 or 20 bucks, because I would happily buy it at that price just to be able to play it. I think it looks fantastic. I want to try it. but buying the full port for $60 isn't worth it to me when I still own Mario 3D World on my Wii U, and I can play it at any time because I still have my Wii U hooked up. But as I discussed earlier in the year, I think that what we saw with Bowser's Fury very much could be showing us the direction that the Mario series is planning on going. And again, you know, I think the most notable takeaway from Bowser's Fury, we all know what it is, and it's the fact that it pretty much was truly an open world. And I know I'm saying that as someone who hasn't played it, but it's not hard to grasp that from the trailers. I watched the video breakdown that Nintendo released, and they described the whole kind of structure of it. It is an open world thing. Plenty of people talked about it in their reviews and on Twitter. So I know that that's what they were going for with that game, and I think it's a cool idea. Again, I think it looked great from the trailer. And, I mean, are we finally going to get Nintendo to take Mario into a true open world kind of vibe? And I think that there is a great chance. Is the open world genre of games a little bit played out nowadays? Yeah, I guess I would say it is, but do I still enjoy a really good open world? Yes, I do. Do I also think that a full Mario game using an open world could be a great direction to take Mario in? Yes, I do. We've gotten close. I think Mario Galaxy, and then Mario Sunshine, and then Mario Odyssey. I know that's not the release order, but I think those three games, Sunshine, Galaxy, and Odyssey specifically, show a progression of the Mario concept going more and more open world. You can even kind of throw 64 in there to a degree, because they use the kind of open world hub area, and then you just find warp points into the different maps, and you replay them to get the different items and stuff. And I think that was a great formula, and I love that formula. Odyssey really started to go more open world, and so when I picture a full game using an open world, I think it could be really cool specifically for Mario. I guess that may be one of the reasons I feel that it could be a cool direction to take Mario in, is not because open world is new, because again, open world's not new. We've been playing open world games for 20 years and seen that genre evolve. It's simply the fact that it would be new specifically to the Mario franchise. So it's not about Mario coming out and breaking new ground like, holy crap, Mario's changing the game industry because it's open world now. That's not going to happen. We've had games like Skyrim and Grand Theft Auto and Breath of the Wild for decades. Like, open world isn't new. But when you take the most popular and long-running franchise in the gaming industry currently, or one of, in the Mario franchise, and you add that genre to it, you do still break new ground and change the game in that one sense. And when it's a franchise as popular as Mario, it's going to make an impact, if in fact that's the direction Nintendo seems to be going. And from all accounts, the way they handled the open world concept with a small bite-sized adventure with Bowser's Fury was very successful. It looked great, it played great, it was a lot of fun for people who enjoyed it. Maybe the Mega Bowser thing in the center of the map was not the best idea for some people, but I think their approach to just making an open world, like in the Mushroom Kingdom, seems to have been pretty successful from what I've heard from people. So yeah, you know, I mean, you could do the thing like Odyssey did where you still have multiple specific areas to go to that are like smaller open world kind of things, and you just warp from one to another. But I feel like Nintendo needs to move away from that from the next Mario game. If they don't, I'll still be excited, but if they do move away from it and embrace an open world, I think it could be really cool, and it would make me excited even as a long-running Mario fan. Now, like I said, the other part of this conversation is how a new Mario game could relate to Nintendo's hardware plans. And I know some of you might be sick of hearing me talk about this stuff, but I do think a lot of you guys also enjoy it. I get good responses from these conversations. And you know that for a year, 18 months, I've really been believing in my own personal philosophy and my personal prediction about Nintendo's plans with hardware, that they do have some bigger, significant upgrades and power jumps that they have planned for the next year to 2 to 3 years or so. And the Switch OLED, again, right around the corner. It's releasing in just, 2 or 3 weeks, and it's cool for what it is. Portable players are going to have a great enhanced experience with their Switch, but it's not truly improving and upgrading the capability, the power, the graphics, the GPU and CPU and all that stuff, whatever RAM and things that go into consoles that I have no idea about. I do know that it's not actually increasing the power and the capability of the machine. It just is increasing the visuals and the size of the screen on the overall portable experience of the Switch. Now, a Switch Pro that upgrades to a next-gen degree, or a straight-up Switch 2 that is a next-gen upgrade. That becomes exciting to me. I do think Nintendo is working on something currently, and as popular as the Switch is selling right now, 2 years from now, in 2023, give or take, I think that the sales may be beginning to dwindle at that point, and even if they're not, the 2017 Switch hardware has to be moved on from at some point. And then we think about the software. In my last video, I talked about Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3 and Mario Kart 9. And games like these may be starting to get planned for the next-gen release of their next hardware around that time. And I think a Mario game is in that same conversation. Now, as I hinted at the end of that last video, I think that there's a 50-50 chance that the next Mario game that we know Nintendo is working on right now is either going to be cross-gen, and it would release on both the current Switch with its massive install base, as well as releasing on the next generation platform whenever the game releases, right at launch or a year after launch, whatever the case. I think there's a chance it's going to release cross-gen, but I do also think that if the next Mario game is planning on releasing far enough into the life of the next-gen machine whenever that happens, there is a chance that Nintendo plans to release it exclusively on that next hardware, that it's being built only for that next hardware on the ground up to be a perfect, massive-sized showcase of what their next hardware could be capable of. And again, because a Mario game is a great title with a huge fan base to showcase something like the power of your next-gen system, there is a potential huge advantage to making it exclusive to that next hardware. Yes, there's a sales advantage to making it, cross-gen with the Switch because of the install base, but there's also a huge advantage of waiting until the right time to show that you've made it exclusively for that next hardware and show you what it can do and convince people to buy it and just make it the best Mario game ever. And so their plans with their next-gen hardware, whenever that is, might be coinciding with their plans for their next Mario game. Again, reminder, all of this is a theory, man. I'm just a guy who likes talking about this stuff. I like video games and I like Nintendo, and I'm just predicting as a fan for fun. So if this doesn't jive or line up with your personal thoughts and theories, that's okay. I'm not telling you to feel the way I feel. I'm just sharing my opinions and predictions on what I think may be happening. And I think Nintendo's next hardware and their next Mario game could be lining up in such a way that any of these possibilities could be happening. So these are some of my thoughts on the state of the Mario franchise and the next main 3D entry whenever we see it. How does it impact Nintendo's next hardware and vice versa? Are there any plans? Are there no plans? We'll have to wait and see, but this is just kind of how I see things right now as a fan of Nintendo and as a fan of Mario. So what do you think about my predictions and theories and my conversation today? What are your thoughts and predictions? Do you agree with mine? Do you have totally different thoughts? Whatever you feel, talk about it below. And with that, this video is a wrap. Thanks, of course, as always, for tuning in, guys. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you next time on another video.